I don't want to get caught.
No.
We'll have a lively discussion.
There we go. I'd like to call to order the Board of Finance special budget meeting, Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. You join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
Not pledging allegiance to this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, first up is public remarks. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and step up to the podium, please.
Good evening. My name is Donald Strand. I'm Chief of East Hampton Ambulance. I'm here tonight to show my support for East Hampton Ambulance with the upcoming budget deliberations on the town of East Hampton budget. I'd like to highlight a few recent events that have occurred in the town of East Hampton and some statistics. Last year in 2023, our ambulance responded to a wide variety of calls, 214 being general sick person, 146 being falls, 106 being breathing problems, 97 being mental health related. In 2023, our ambulance had 23 calls for ages 0 to 9, 72 calls for 10 to 19, and 677 calls for age 55 and above. Our ambulance serves every population in the town of East Hampton, from the young to the more senior population, with no discrimination. Over the last number of years, we've had an increase in the younger population due to the ongoing mental health crisis that was exacerbated by the pandemic. Our ambulance has provided many CPR certifications to teachers, daycare workers, new parents, and other community members over the years at only the cost of the card. We have provided an ambulance to many community events such as Old Home Day, Touch a Truck, 5K races, and other gatherings to provide the safety of our community. Last year, we had 23 incidents during the weekend of Old Home Day, including at the fair, and 9 calls the previous year on Old Home Day. Last month, our ambulance had an average of 8 minutes and 2 seconds response, our lowest month to date. This is the time of dispatch to arriving on scene and providing care. These minutes have improved, will only continue, and show a difference in our call and the higher level of care provided. On April 1st, 2024, our ambulance was on a call for a juvenile patient experiencing a mental health crisis. While they were returning from Middletown, a second call came in for service for a resident who had been stabbed multiple times. Our ambulance was able to ensemble a crew and have them on scene in approximately 4 minutes after being dispatched. This ultimately allowed our ambulance to provide rapid and immediate care to this resident, while freeing up our law enforcement partners to search for the offender and keep our community safe. Without assembly of a second crew, it could have been 20 minutes from another town to respond to the scene. Meanwhile, our other ambulance was able to come back, respond to another patient who needed a lift assist, and ultimately transport this offender, who later need to go to the hospital for evaluation. On March 13th, our ambulance was dispatched to a call for a cardiac arrest. Due to being a local ambulance, we were able to have additional members respond from their home to assist in the care for this patient. During this call, a vehicle fire came in, and due to having multiple higher trained medical personnel on scene, we were able to have our fire department volunteers clear and respond to that fire. On May 18, 2023, our ambulance was dispatched to a call for a fall of head injury. We were able to respond and be on scene in 3.5 minutes, which resulted in quicker recognition and a higher level of care being provided. We were able to determine the patient was not alert, semi-conscious, and had fallen from the high level. We requested a paramedic early on, and we were able to make a difference and a positive outcome. These are only a few of the hundreds of calls that we
Excuse
make.
me, I'll let you finish, but
I have about half a page. So,
Okay.
if not, I'm certainly, I believe one of my members would allot their time.
go ahead and finish it, but pretty much if everybody could keep it to 3 minutes, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. These are only a few of the 100 calls that made a difference. Our ambulance's mission is to provide the highest quality and most dependable pre-hospital emergency service to our town. Any member of our fire department, police department, and our dispatchers can assure you that our service is provided a much quicker and dependable level of care to better serve the community. Our town council has encouraged a working relationship with East Hampton Ambulance over the last few years, including an allocation of American Rescue Plan funding to assist us in the payment for our new ambulance, a recently signed lease to the building at 4 Middletown Ave, and a meet and greet with elected officials back in December between the Town Council, Board of Finance, and our Board of Directors. Transparency has been provided with financials, and many opportunities have been provided for questions and ride-along opportunities. Additionally, just like our school system, our ambulance has provided a gateway for our residents to explore the field of healthcare while also giving back to the community they grew up in. This allows an immersive environment, giving anyone 14 years up an opportunity to get experience. This has resulted in many getting a career in EMS as an EMT or medic, becoming a nurse, firefighter, officer, police officer, physician assistant, or doctor. We have 2 current high school members, age 14 and 17, giving back to their community, and 2 members leaving us this summer to pursue medical school. We have given them every opportunity as the residents to get this experience. Ensuring East Hampton Ambulance has the necessary financial resources and commitment from the town. It's not just an investment in our EMS service, but an investment in the safety and health of every single member in our community. I thank you for your time and consideration. I trust that the council and the Board of Finance will recognize the importance of supporting the ambulance in our community and allocate the necessary funds to ensure the ongoing provision of exceptional patient care, quick response times, and also having the local input.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question? Can everybody in the back,
Not during public remarks, please.
I'm just asking if everybody in the back of the room
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay.
That's all.
No.
They should be able to hear us.
Okay.
Right.
Is there something with the microphones, Jeff?
We can't hear this or you.
We can hear the speaker, we can hear especially.
You guys are covered at the table.
Yeah, it's uncovered.
Well, you'll hear me on my. I guess I'll start. My name is Nancy Brown. I'm a member of the Board of Directors for the East Hampton Ambulance Association. A few years ago, I was looking for a place to volunteer my time. The ambulance board had an opening. So I said, well, that sounds like an interesting thing to look into. And I had no idea what what the duties of a board member were. Saying that I am amazed by the dedication, professionalism, and commitment to community these medically trained men and women show is an understatement to say. In 2022, the department realized that paid personnel was essential in order to continue to properly serve the community. This was due to a higher call volume and a decrease in volunteers. The Holsworth Group was hired to help us with this new plan. Since April 2nd, 2023, our response times to emergencies were reduced to between 7 and 10 minutes. And our staff coverage increased to 97%. Our consultant has repeatedly told us that this is an outstanding response time. The money we are asking for will allow us to continue to give the town's residents the EMS support they deserve.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Kimball. I've lived on 7 Fernwood Drive for 38 years and been a member of the East Hampton Ambulance for 17 years. It's always been a requirement to put in 24 hours each month to maintain EMS skills and fill the schedule so the EMT team can be ready to go when help is needed. When I started 17 years ago, it was actually difficult to find slots in the schedule to fill my 24 hours because there are so many dedicated volunteers in town. I could do 3 hours here, 3 hours there, so it'd be nights and weekends to fill my 24-hour requirement. But it's a very different time now. People were dedicated to helping out neighbors without any compensation. Something I learned from my World War II era parents and through Boy Scouts were part of the Boy Scout motto is to help other people at all times. As the old timers retired from East Hampton Ambulance, there were less and less people to fill the schedule. And relied on only a handful of EMTs to go on most of the calls. Someone on 300 plus calls each year. And there were less and less volunteers coming in. As older people retired, there were fewer people coming in. So less people doing the same amount of calls every year. Then came COVID, requiring EMT to be fully suited up in a Tyvek suit, even in the summertime, from top to bottom, face, boots, hat, everything, gloves, on every single call. This had even less people volunteer to do that job. Today, there are very few pure volunteer EMTs organizations in Connecticut. Almost all have a variation of pay for its members. In East Hampton, there's still several fully volunteering EMTs, but most are paid either by the hour or by call. Now our schedule is completely staffed and ready to go help those in need 24/7, all the time, year round. So I'm asking the Board of Finance and Town Council to support the East Hampton Ambulance Association so we can continue to help the citizens of East Hampton when they need it most. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So anyone else in the audience? Anyone online, Jeff?
We have two people online. You use the raise your hand. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Brian Corvo, 42 Sunrise. I've lived here since 2015. I care about this community. I like it a lot. We chose to make it home. I've attended the meetings about the budgets. I've gone to some of the listening sessions. I've educated myself on what's going on. This is largely a maintenance budget that you're going to have in front of you. And when you think about what maintenance is, it's keeping things as they are. It's taking care of things. When we stop taking care of stuff, when we fail to maintain what we have, things fall apart. And we end up leaving things worse than we found them. That's not just about infrastructure being maintained. It's about institutions. It's about our schools and the services and the teachers in there. It's about essential services like police, fire, and ambulance. All those people who keep us safe. It's about all the government services, planning, zoning, building permits, filing something at the town's clerk's office, whatever. Government has to do a lot. It has to take care of its assets and it has to preserve what we have. If we don't, we're going to go back as a community, and that's just not a realistic or good option. We're a special community, but we're not unique. Other communities in the state, more than not, are going through the same stuff we are. If you read and you look around, you'll see taxes are going up everywhere. Why? We're not immune to the outside social and economic forces any more than anyone else. Other things are driving up prices. It's not just people saying they need stuff instead of or wanting stuff instead of needing stuff. That's a reality. Hartford not funding a school is not an excuse to do what needs to be done to support our schools. No one likes to pay taxes, but failure to do so is not meeting the needs of the community. We can't just say we're going to cut things and send ourselves back in time. We can't kick the can down the road and pretend we're not doing damage to what we have. I understand it's a complex choice. There's a lot of competing interests and competing interests and competing values. But this isn't just about tax money. It's about whether or not you're going to do what's right for the community and take care of the town. So I ask that you please fund what's needed to maintain what we have. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sure.
Hi, my name is Deborah Mayer, and I've lived in East Hampton for almost 4 years. I moved here from California because my daughter moved here. And I am a registered nurse, and I've worked in EMS and the ER for decades. And I'm on a research team out of LA on cardiac arrest survivors and cardiac arrest. I don't have a lot of understanding. I'm a novice as far as town politics and how all this works. I really don't have an agenda. But I do know how important our response times are for survival for people. And so when I first came into the ambulance board, I'm on the board of the ambulance, I was impressed seeing the response times coming down. 8 minutes is what in LA County and in Ventura County where I lived is what was our goal. It had to be 8 minutes. So when I saw that, I was so proud. And I really just want to encourage that we continue that. I think that lasts the maintenance of what we have. And I really respect the town and what everybody does here. It's very inspiring to me. So. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So, Matt Irons, 30 North Main Street. So I'm here on behalf of the seniors in East Hampton. And so over the years, we've consistently voiced our concerns regarding staffing, transportation, and the availability of a better bus for our seniors. These concerns remain valid and pressing. However, amidst these challenges, we have seen positive growth in our center. We are a safe haven for seniors. Family members as well in the community call us all of the time for support. While it may seem that we are succeeding with our current approach, it's essential to recognize that our achievements have been made possible largely due to the dedication of individuals like Joanne, our invaluable part-time staff and committed volunteers. However, with Joanne's departure, we must acknowledge that volunteers, no matter how dedicated, cannot replace trained staff. Investing in staffing and transportation resources will yield numerous positive outcomes. It will allow us to innovate with new programs, strengthen our community outreach efforts, and foster meaningful intergenerational engagement. We have witnessed the success of similar endeavors such as those at the library, and we are confident that we can replicate such enriching experiences for our seniors. Considering that 25% of our population is aged 60 and above, with 19% being 65 or older, it's disheartening that our budget allocation for the senior center only amounts to a meager 0.003%. As John Hoven rightly said, caring for our seniors is perhaps the greatest responsibility we have. The contributions of our seniors have shaped the life we all enjoy today, and it's imperative that we reciprocate by ensuring their needs are met. Seniors also have expressed their frustration regarding the lack of day trips and the importance of our mission statement, which emphasizes responsiveness to their diverse needs and the enhancement of their involvement with our center. I'm asking for you to review our budget and possibly increase it. That is it.
Thank you.
I'm Sally Cosford Parker, and I live at 30 Main Street. I too am new within the last 4 years to East Hampton. I'm also a volunteer at the Senior Center. The Senior Center provides a lot of activities, and that sounds like a really fun thing. And do we really want to invest important money in people having fun? But we do a lot more than that. And I would invite all of you to come to the Senior Center and see the soft, important services that are provided by the staff. When Rhea mentioned holding hands of people who need help, we do that on a regular basis. We help people who don't know where to turn, older people who feel undervalued, who feel isolated, who feel like they're just not important to the town anymore. Unfortunately, one way to tell the older population that they are important is by investing in them. And that's hard to do, I know, when you're up against a tough budget season. But older people have value, they contribute, and they deserve to have the support of their town. And I'm hoping that all of you will recognize that and vote accordingly or look accordingly at our budget. I also invite you, as I said earlier, come and spend some time with us. Come and see what we do. Come and see what walks in the door and the difference in people from when they come in and how they behave and how they feel and how they act when they leave. I think it would be a really eye-opening experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else online, Jeff? No? Okay. Well, let's move along. Lana?
I move to approve the recommended. Approve and recommend to the town council, the Board of Ed operating budget in the amount of 37,725,499. Which is a reduction of 359,333 as presented by the Board of Ed.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Any questions?
No.
Put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
It's like 100%. Good.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and recommend to the town council, the town operating budget in the amount of $13,671,036. This represents a reduction of $194,910.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jim, what you can do is kind of list what is being reduced out of the original submission.
Okay, what's being reduced on the original submission is $173,910 for the ambulance, $2,000 from police administration for professional technical services, $5,500 from the fire department for physicals at $5,000 and heating oil at $500, $2,500 for the Middle Haddam Library, and $11,000 from grounds maintenance from part-time salaries.
Okay, for discussion.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna be objecting to this motion on the sole grounds of the ambulance, the cut to the ambulance, the 173,910. Now, I understand that the Ambulance Association is a nonprofit entity and it's separate from East Hampton as far as city government. So, and they're their own entity and they have their own guidelines, rules, and state statutes that guide them. However, right now, we're kind of in the midst of a change with the ambulance associations, not only here in East Hampton, but throughout the state. And we talked about, what do you call that? About volunteers and that whole thing. And you look at the long-term viability, there is a question. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a motion after the Bridget goes through all promotions, and I'm going to be coming back to a motion on this particular second motion number 2 on this with some language, and we could talk about that later, but I am going to object and I'm going to vote no because of the cut to the ambulance.
I'd like to address that, and we certainly all support the Ambulance Association. We're a group of very dedicated individuals. However, the agreement between the East Hampton Ambulance Association and the town of East Hampton requires that any additional funding go through the town council before it is presented to the Board of Finance. Like last year, when they approached us for funding, we had to decline until the town council reached an agreement with the Ambulance Association for the balance of the ambulance funding. And at that point, it could come back to the Board of Finance, and we agreed, we voted, we supported the Ambulance Association at that time. It's the exact same thing as last year. We cannot initiate the funding. It has to come from the town council before it approaches the Board of Finance. So as much as we support the ambulance association in one form or another, it is not something that can be addressed tonight by the Board of Finance.
Can we take it up at a later date?
Absolutely. There is nothing that would prevent that. We've had other situations, maybe not with the ambulance association. Things have come up, there's an amount of money we need, and it has been addressed by town council and Board of Finance.
So at another meeting, we can either provide the funds or cut the funds.
Right, but a lot of it depends what we can get from town council. Which I think we kind of covered that last week as well.
And they have to approve everything anyway.
Right,
No, develop a strategy.
right.
Oh, that's too bad. I had a lot of nice comments.
Save
He
them,
loves you, Ted.
save them for a future date, Ted.
Yeah, if I could just interject a thought, is I have not read the contract that you refer to. But in a larger sense, we have a town charter, which gives the responsibilities to the Board of Finance and the town council and about making budgets. And how that relates to the contract, because I don't know the exact wording, but the charter gives the Board of Finance responsibilities and authority. And if you're saying that the town council can make this and overstepping what the authority has given to the Board of Finance in the charter, I'm gonna have to say that's your opinion.
No, it's specific.
I'm saying in the general sense, and I don't want to get into a conversation here, but I just want to let you, I think that's your opinion on that relation to the charter. You could have I view it as an opinion, but for purposes of my particular view of this, I am going to make my motion, and I do think it's relevant, and I do think it's in the town council's.
Can we do this? Can we get through this first?
Okay.
And then we can move on to that.
Okay.
Is there anything else? AJ, anything you want to say?
I support the ambulance as well. I think we all do here.
Yes.
I'm quite frankly with what Rich just presented a little bit fuzzy here on exactly what the best way to proceed is. It almost sounds like we need to push on this one until we get some information back from the town council before we can go and fully clear this if we're lumping that all together. Is that?
Well, town council can come back to us. We can approve the budgets tonight, and my understanding is town council can come back to us. It may, now, when town council gets this, they can move money around if they choose to. Or they could just approve the budgets as they're presented, and then we have that separate, town council separate discussion on I guess, the tactical plan going forward for the ambulance. No one on this board is saying we don't want the ambulance service anymore. It's planning. I think.
Understood. I think we're all incentivized to want to keep it here. We like what we're getting from them, but just a note for the future. If we need to make sure that this conversation happens before we get here next year.
Sure, exactly.
So that we're not having
That
this
is
discussion.
I think that's the whole goal here, is so that we're not having this predicament year over year. Because we're moving into that at this point.
Is it up to the town council whether it comes back to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's my understanding.
On the other hand, a little different twist. I wonder, after receiving the money last year, what was it?
280,000.
280, it was to pay off an ambulance, which saves them, I think, 54,000 a year on lease payments.
Payments and interest.
So why are they coming back to us asking for the same amount as they did last year?
They're asking for 173K.
At least at minimum, it would be reduced by the 54,000. I don't know, the request just doesn't add up to me, but the bottom line is the town council needs to make a decision before we can act.
There are some additional questions to this that the town council needs to clarify. Policy issues, again, that the Board of Finance does not address, such as the status of the employees, volunteers, which are no longer volunteers, but paid staff, whatever. If we're paying salaries, are they now town employees, subject to all the benefits and protections that other town employees receive? Is that a legal question that perhaps outside counsel needs to address? There's the proposal to expand the board of directors with 2 new members. We saw how well that worked out last year, and the town council might want to question or proceed with caution on that. There are other factors here that need to be considered before this is a permanent decision by both boards, town council and Board of Finance. So I don't think there's a solution to it tonight. I think, again, the town council needs to address the policy issue at stake here. And then the Board of Finance can act in their fiduciary responsibility.
Anything else?
I'm gonna vote for this if this thing's coming back. I just hope it's coming back.
Yeah, ask me to say what town council's gonna do.
Yeah,
My guess is
so
it might come back.
as
but-
long as I know that the town council has the right to send it back to us so we can talk about this, then I'll vote for the whole thing.
I believe the town council can send a budget back to the Board of Finance
Oh, they
for
can.
reconsideration, yes.
Yeah.
Or they can move money around within the budget. to
Right.
pay
Right.
for it.
Right.
Okay.
Or or the ambulance association.
I'm good now. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
Until it comes
Give it
back.
to the
I'm
option.
glad.
Wait for it to come back. I got many comments.
All right. So are we all good?
I'm good.
Those all in favor for the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm voting.
All that oppose? So the motion was passed. Okay, Rich?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the debt service budget in the amount of $3,904,329.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
A brief discussion. First off, I'm not gonna object to at the end. I'm just gonna point out that I'm not in agreement with the reduce of the funding for the road maintenance and repair. As I think we're being short-sighted on that.
This is just.
This is the debt service
Debt
budget.
service. We're not quite there yet.
Oh.
Yeah,
we're down
we're
the
not
bottom.
there yet.
Oh, never mind. I apologize.
Okay,
Oh, that's. Never mind. Go ahead. I apologize.
we forgive you.
What I get for highlighting?
Okay, any other comments? Okay, can we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve and recommend to the town council a total capital plan in the amount of $2,389,355. The capital plan contains the following changes: the elimination of $21,945 for a flock plate reader. The project is eliminated. The reduction of $85,000 from the Board of Ed, consisting of the high school projectors reduced by $77,000 and switches reduced by $8,000. The reduction in the road repair of $300,000 road repair maintenance item, resulting in funding of $700,000. The elimination of the police department auto of $72,650. That will be funded from the Special Revenue Police Special Services Fund. $65,000 removed from the Park and Rec Airline Trail to be funded from the Special Revenue Recreational Programming, totaling $544,595 total. The funding for this fiscal year 2025 capital plan will come from the following sources. From the general fund, $1,349,349.55. From opera funds, $350,000. From residual project balances, $172,650. From the middle school roof excess funds, $304,000. From the LOCIP grant, $76,000. From police special services, $72,650. From parks and Park and Rec special revenue, $65,000.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion?
I'm apprehensive to make my comment.
I just want to, the Board of Ed high school projectors. Now, they wanted projectors for the middle school and the high school.
Right, middle school is still in.
The middle school is still in, the high school hopefully next year.
Right,
Okay.
absolutely next year.
Okay, that's good. Now, my comment on the and I mean, I was on the capital committee, and we started out at $1 million and now we're down to 700. I'm gonna vote for the 700, but I think it's low.
Yeah.
If we could fund 700 every year, I'd have a little smile on my face, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Actually, it'll have to be to get to our goal.
The goal is $1 million.
We'll have to increase it 75,000
Yeah.
each year. So
75,
next year it'll
so-
be 775,000.
Right, so, and that's
Seven hundred
important.
seventy-five-thousand, if a year from tonight.
Yeah,
Next budget cycle, we want to see that moved up by
Okay.
75,000.
Okay, good.
And then the following year, keep adding 75,000 so we can get Public Works to the $1 million. So
Okay.
that, then they're on top of
Okay.
managing roads that are in much better
Sounds
shape.
good.
And
One more thing.
Yeah.
Police special services, 72,000. What's that all about?
That's coming from a special fund.
the special revenue fund in the police department.
Okay. So that's fun.
They offered that to help pay for the cruiser. And the same with the Parks and Rec Special Revenue Fund. They're paying for airline trail improvements.
And we're getting an additional police officer.
Yes, that's in
in the budget.
yeah,
That was approved in the operating budget.
right.
All right, I might be back. Go ahead. Anybody else?
I think for the roads, I know that's been a tough subject. I'm okay with the 700 contingent on, yes, we need to continue increasing that to get us up to the target. I think we're all there, but just want to make sure that that's well
Yeah, it's
understood.
important that it's continued to be increased because I think a lot of the discussion was around, $1 million, on top of the other needs in town. And not wants, they were needs. That it kind of showed.
And I think based on the studies that Matt was able to get together for us, this is the right approach to do this and continue to incrementally increase. So.
I agree. We'll get to the goal.
And I completely agree with AJ too.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Is that airline trail is for 65,000? Is that's not a cut? That's a match, isn't it?
Actually, it's coming out of an actual fund. It's money that is sitting there. It's actual money it's a separate fund.
So nothing was cut. We're just changing how it was paid for.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
got you.
financed.
I'm all
Right.
done.
Well, good.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. One more motion. Motion to approve transfers to other funds in the amount of $1,391,555, consisting of a transfer to the capital reserve of $1,349,055 and transfer to the compensated absences of $42,500.
Second.
Discussion, questions?
Well, what's a compensated absent?
Our finance guy.
We're all asking that.
Never heard that
Yeah,
before.
that is our sick and vacation fund. Our sick and vacation payout fund.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was right. When the guest started, yeah. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. My gosh, never seen 100% before.
Oh, we got a different board.
On anything. Okay. Next up is, that it,
No, I'd like to do a motion,
okay,
as I referenced before. And hopefully for discussion. Here, I'm gonna pass down a motion. I made a copy of it. And I'll let you take a look at it. Should be some extra copies there for Dave and Jeff. That my motion is to amend an earlier motion that approved and recommended to the town council, the town operating budget. And I move to restore the funding for the East Hampton Ambulance Association in the amount of $173,910, contingent upon the town council establishing a task force to develop a written plan to determine the fiscal support to be provided by the taxpayers for the fiscal years 2026 through fiscal year 2030. This written plan will be submitted by November 26th of 24 to the town council, to the Board of Finance, and to the Board of Directors of the Ambulance Association.
I'll second that.
discussion?
I don't think we can do that. Again, for the reasons that I stated previously, it is stated in black and white, it's not an opinion, it's in black and white, that the funding, the initiation has to come from the town council, not from the Board of Finance.
Well, I'll
So
disagree
there's-
with you. That's your opinion. A court of law will make it a
Not
fact.
an opinion. I'm not
You
an
can say
attorney,
that all
but
you
something's
want.
in black
I
and
know
white.
you're a doctor or a
Everybody
dentist
calm
or
down.
something, but
This topic is not worth getting heated. Okay, I think, you know, let's just keep it calm.
Yes.
And we are about opinions.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we all have different opinions on different topics, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
However,
I don't think that agreeing to this would be prudent. It's agreeing for years 26 through 2030. That doesn't seem prudent to me. And it's all built on speculation and hope. And I don't know, hope is not a strategy.
I'm concerned about the balance in the ambulance association's funds. If we don't, and again, I hope it comes back from the council. I'm worried about the funds that they have. If we don't fund it, their funds every year will be depleted. I would say 3 years, maybe 4, everything's gone. We have no leverage towards any other entity like Hartford Hospital that now owns Hunters. Middlesex Hospital. Okay? I'm gonna throw in some of the comments I was gonna say before. I think that Hartford Hospital and Middlesex Hospital, they have business plans. And they're not gonna lose too much money. I think I'd love to see a contract ahead of time saying what we're gonna do with all our assets, including the money, if we have any left, if we don't fund them. We don't have any leverage at all if we don't keep that fund up. And if for some reason we can't put up with the deal from Hartford Hospital or Middlesex Hospital, we're not gonna have any money left. So we'll come back to the town and then you might be talking 800,000, 900,000. Well, let me. We have an ambulance 24/7, 365 in our garage. We also have another ambulance to back it up. We go to a vendor, I'll bet you they can't promise that. And that's our other alternative, either funding what we're doing now, or we go to a vendor. Vendors, in my mind, vendors are not going to give us the service that we get right now. What is the contract going to look like? Do we have to give them our ambulance? Do we have to give them our funds for them to get a contract with us? There's so many questions that I can't put up with, just myself, just my opinion. I like it the way it is, and I think for 175K this year, I think is damn good funds spent. We have a great ambulance association. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I'm just worried about the terms of any contract we have outside of what we have now. And that's the only alternative we have. We have this one or go to a vendor.
Well,
Am I right?
but there needs to be a plan on how we're gonna keep this going.
Yeah.
And I think that's the, taking out the money, that's what this actually says. We need a strategic plan to keep.
I'd like
our
to see the
ambulance
money going in until we have a plan. So we still have the option of keeping what we got. That's my problem.
As a point of information,
Yeah.
the Holdsworth report,
Well,
says that the funding was good for at least 6 years, correct, Ted?
I got that.
Yeah. It's good for 6 years according to the report.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot.
not 2 or 3, at least
So you
6.
got 4 options in there. In this consultants.
Mhm.
I read page 17 and 18. Got me a little scary.
Which pages are those, Ted? Because my copy does not have page numbers, so I was wondering what you were referring to.
I'm back then. Well, I'll tell you what, let's see what's on the top of the page. Well, it's page 16, it starts option 1. If you could find a page with option 1 on it, that's page 16.
Yes.
And then the next one, it says, the top of the page says, once finalized, this budget will.
Okay, thanks.
That's 17.
All right, thanks.
The back of that is also what I'm a little worried about. Those are the 4 options, and then some opinions by consultants that I think know a lot more about ambulance service than I do. So, they give opinions on which option the town should take. I read that. I read every damn word in this thing, and that's why I have a few comments. And I'll just say one more time, I just hope it comes back here. So we can decide whether we can fund these people and keep them going. And if we don't fund them and the funds go tick, 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 all of a sudden have very few funds and very few options, we have to go to the vendors. And they're going to be in the driver's seat because they know what is going on with the town and the funds that the ambulance, they can negotiate what I think would probably be a lousy deal. They can move their ambulance or wherever the hell they want. They can take our ambulance, take East Hampton off it and put Middlesex on it and send it to Durham. Leave one here, send it to Durham. What happens if somebody in Portland has a call and they don't have anything available? East Hampton ambulance goes to Portland. We have a call here, maybe we have 2 calls at the same time. We have no damn ambulance. And whatever's in the contract, they might say, well, we're gonna give you 1 ambulance. And it's gonna be there all the time. Where's the second one coming from? I don't know. All those things I hope that the council would take in consideration, and I hope it comes back so we have just a little bit to say and send them the money so we have the leverage in the end. So we can dictate, or not dictate, but at least have a chair at the table. So that's it. I'm all done.
If the town enters into a contract with an outside vendor, I would certainly hope that the negotiations present a contract that is responsible to the town of East Hampton and addresses all the concerns that you bring up, Ted.
Yeah,
Because we
absolutely.
certainly wouldn't want those to be left unspecified in a contract. So I have confidence the town, if they choose to go down that path, could negotiate a contract that would address your concerns. But whatever the town does, we need to do it the right way.
Right.
And the right way is spelled out. So let's,
There's no going back once you get a vendor.
we're nowhere near that point, Ted.
Right, we're not at that.
Oh, I know it. I know. it.
No,
But that's a
let's-
consideration. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, okay.
Right.
But as far as the funding, let's do it the right way.
Okay.
All right, anything else, Alona? Anything else?
You have to vote on his motion.
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor? All opposed?
Oh, well. Only
Okay,
could try and.
all right, public remarks. Yeah, you can keep it to 3 minutes.
My name is Donald Scranton, Chief of East Hampton Ambulance. I'd like to just point out some corrections. The Holdsworth report stated that a better approach, and again, this was September 2022, almost a year and a half ago. A better approach would be for the town and DHA to share the subsidization, and if that were to happen, the program can run for approximately 8 years. Later in his report on the conclusion, DHA is in good service, doing a good job. Staffing, long-term fiscal stability after the funds has been carefully curated, are exhausted about 3 years. So I'd just like to point out some of those numbers that were pointed around in terms of years. Additionally, I believe the contract that was being referred to was an agreement signed in 1996 between the Ambulance Association and the Town Council. Paragraph 8. In addition to the basis consideration as set forth in paragraph 7 above, the Town Council may consider special purpose funds to the East Hampton Ambulance Association as deemed necessary, subject to the town appropriation process. If we look at our town charter under Board of Finance, Chapter 5, the Board of Finance shall review and make recommendations regarding all requests for additional appropriation to be submitted to the council.
Correct.
So I'd just like to point those out. Additionally, the town does fund other nonprofits or other services. As a result, they're not employees of the town, such as Glassmere Dispatch, Chatham Health, the Middle Adam Library. They are not the town of East Hampton employees. I'm certainly saddened by the results tonight, but I hope that going forward, the town council can work with the Board of Finance and get the funds back. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone online, Jeff?
Anyone who'd like to speak, please raise your hand.
Thanks. All right. And I'm Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.